Good morning and welcome to Backyard and Beyond. This morning we're visiting with Treva Turpin and we're going to be talking about divorce care. So, Treva, welcome to Backyard and Beyond.
Thank you. Very good to be here.
Now, this is, I think, has developed because of the grief that people need to deal with in terms of someone dying, but divorce is not that different.
No, it isn't. There's a long grieving period usually, and many issues to confront that you don't often have with death. So there needs to be kind of a separate support group for divorce, and I found this one to be excellent.
Okay. And so we should tell people where and when and how they can get involved, and then we're going to talk a little more about the course.
Okay, it's at I'm not sure of the street.
1011 East 10th.
Okay, 1011 East 10th. It's connected with Roland Funeral Home, who do grief support, 2 sessions after I do this one at 1 o'clock every Tuesday for 13 weeks. We're in our 2nd week today. You may join in at any time. With a DVD, you'll be able to pick it right up.
Okay, so there are materials that go along with this course. Of course, getting together is really, really important, but they have these support materials. So in addition to a DVD, there's some other support materials?
Yes, there is a workbook that we go through a little bit together, but it's to be worked one day at a time each week. And that we share, and that helps bring about other ideas of how to deal with things as or grief connected with divorce as others share. Actually, it's more a course in sharing and helping each other.
Yes. And that is I think the core of any group like this is that people do come and, if they don't want to share right at the beginning, they can just listen and join in when they feel like it.
Yes, we had one that we've had that just didn't want to share much, but it isn't long till they're sharing.
Yes. Yes, they find out that people have similar experiences and can help each other out with that. Before I forget, I do need to go back. There is a small fee because of the materials.
Yes, it's $15. That pays for the workbook.
Okay, workbook and your DVD, and you're set to go. But you, and of course, if you miss a session, that's probably, it's not like you've missed out on everything. You can come back again.
Right. It's something you can come into each time and get something fresh and new. And because of the workbook work, you can really keep up pretty good even if you miss.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about, somebody says, they call up and they say, well, I guess I want to come try this. What happens when they walk in the door?
Well, they have a hard time coming in the door, I will admit that. And that's very much brought out in the course. Some tried 3 times before they felt comfortable enough to walk in the room. May I tell what happens at the end of the session?
Yes.
This is my first time, but going by the material and the DVDs and the testimonies of those who've been through it, it made the entire difference in a week of nothing but sorrow. They began to look forward to this 2 hours, hour and a half actually, and one they commented, after about 3 weeks something was said and she smiled, and the other said, we didn't even know you had teeth.
That's great. So yeah, you gotta be a little brave, I think, to step in to do this. Right. But it's a very welcoming setting, and of course Treva's a very welcoming person, and I'm sure nobody's there to criticize anybody.
Oh no, it became so evident that they just want to help each other. Completely self-giving. I just was amazed at the way, let me carry some of your grief and some of your heartache. It was the actual answer.
And I wanted to share an experience that I have. I have a friend who's been divorced for, I'm not sure, 40 years plus. Her husband was killed in a plane accident after they were divorced. She is still angry about this. She makes comments. I know she's still angry, has never really dealt with that kind of thing for all those years.
Yes, and that is very much brought out. That is step 2 in our workbook, and we would say she's stuck on it and will not advance, and the root of bitterness will spring up very much through this.
I just want to say, Treva, just get over it. But that probably would not be appropriate.
No, and we are talking about that there are people that will say that. Get hold of yourself. Actually, I have been through a severe depression myself, lasted 3 years. And when people would say that to me, it made me feel even worse. Because if there was anything I wanted to do, it was to get up and get going and be okay. So what we give here is support for you where you're at. Not what you think or we think you should be. I also want to caution, if you never come to the class, about 5 years to heal.
All right. That's a long time. And I'm thinking most people think, I'm over this. And then something will kind of spring up and say, oh, no, you're not.
Absolutely. And we give you the book, I should say. The course gives you techniques on how to deal with that so that you can put it to rest. We must realize this is like death. It's a death to a strong one relationship, a relationship of being one flesh, one spirit, one soul. And it's like tearing when it happens. And it's a wound that has to be healed.
And there are so many things involved here. I'm thinking about children are so much a part of, all of the, I guess, suffering and decisions and so on. Do you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, that's brought out very much so. And we're just starting, so we can't offer it yet. But there is a work book and a session that we do with children. This group does. And meanwhile, you can get online, those that are going through the course, and find help and find others while they're dealing with things that the children are dealing with.
Now, sometimes we think kids don't know much, and they are so smart. They really know what's going on, except sometimes I think they blame themselves when that's not the case. So there's just so much involved. And then there is all of the financial kinds of things. Long ago, Treva, I did a paper, actually it was my thesis, on separation, on people who've been divorced or lost their mate for some reason. And one of the things they said was, we try to take one day at a time.
Yes.
Is that good advice?
Oh, absolutely. And I also want to say, this is a very much a Christ-centered, God-answered curriculum. The criteria will change you so that you will have that one friend that sticks closer than a brother, Jesus. And as we see this, we do see change. And I just, in my own personal testimony, at 26, Bill and I were living in Des Moines, and we were seeing counselors prior to getting a divorce. We were going to divorce. And as we went through that, of course, I began to see a lot of it was my fault, and that was hard. But I also, at the end of that time, instead of going ahead with the divorce, I have to admit that Christ came into my life and changed me completely, and He changed our marriage. And I have to say, it made all the difference because of that God-centered fulfillment in our lives. And that is part of this course.
And how many years ago was that, Treva?
48.
So, I mean, that just is proof kind of that this all works when you're working together there and have that center in your relationship. So this is just such an opportunity for people in the area who are going through divorce, who maybe, like I say, it's been a long time ago, or maybe it was just in the last few days. Whichever one, they're welcome to come, and they probably need to call Roland's to set that up, just to get the basic information.
Yes, that would be a good idea. However, if you feel like you're ready to come, just come.
Okay.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock on Tuesdays at 1011 10th Street, and that's the Roland home, and again, a very welcoming site. So we want to thank you very much, Treva Turpin, for visiting with us today and telling us about this opportunity. And until next time, you have a thought for us.
I do, and it's not original. It's from the material. You choose either reconciliation or the anger path. There's no other path to choose.